Hi, welcome to Let Us Seek the Lord. Welcome back. It's great to be with you today. It's a hot March day. This is really unusual. We've been getting upper 90-degree weather in March. It's terrible. But anyway, it's good to be here to seek the Lord with you. Today we're going to be reading Exodus 38 and have a short devotional after it. So let's get to reading. Exodus 38. He made the altar of burnt offering of acacia wood. 5 cubits was its length, so 5 cubits would have been about 7.5 feet, and 5 cubits its width. It was square, and its height was 3 cubits, so that would have been about 4.5 feet. He made its horn with its 4 corners. Its horns were of one piece with it, and he overlaid it with bronze. He made all the utensils for the altar, the pans, the shovels, the basins, the forks, and the fire pans. All its utensils he made of bronze, and he made a grate of bronze network for the altar under its rim, midway from the bottom. He cast 4 rings for the 4 corners of the bronze grating as holders for the poles. And he made the poles of acacia wood, and he overlaid them with bronze. Then he put the poles into the rings on the sides of the altar, which were to bear it. And he made the altar hollow with boards. And he made the laver of bronze and base of bronze, and from the bronze mirrors of the serving women who assembled at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then he made the court on the south side. The hangings of the court were of fine linen, 100 cubits long, so that'd be about 150 feet long. The hooks of the pillars and the bands were silver. On the north side, the hangings were 100 cubits long. 20 pillars and their 20 bronze sockets, and the hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. And on the west side, there were hangings of 50 cubits. So that would have been about, the west side would have been about 50 cubits. That'd be about 75 feet wide, the tabernacle court was, with 10 pillars and their 10 sockets. And the hooks of their pillars and their bands were silver. For the east side, the hangings were 50 cubits, because they had an opening there for the gate. The hangings on the other side of the gate were 15 cubits long, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets, and the same for the other side of the court gate. On this side and that were hangings of 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets. All the hangings of the court were all around of fine woven linen. The sockets for the pillars were bronze. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver, and the overlay of their capitals was silver. And all the pillars of the court had bands of silver. The screen for the gate of the court was woven blue, purple, and scarlet thread of the fine woven linen. The length was 20 cubits, or about 35 feet. No, I didn't get that right. About 30 feet, excuse me. And the height along it was about 5 cubits, corresponding to the hangings of the court. And there were 4 pillars with their 4 sockets of bronze. Their hooks were silver, and their overlay of their capitals and their bands was silver. And all the pegs of the tabernacle and the court all around were bronze. So this is the inventory of the tabernacle of the testimony, which was counted according to the commandment of Moses for the service of the Levites by the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron, the priest. Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord had commanded Moses. And with him was Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and a designer and a weaver of blue, purple, and scarlet thread and of fine linen. All the gold that was used in all the work of the holy place, that is the gold of the offering, was 29 talents, 730 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. And the silver from those who were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents of silver, and were cast the sockets of the sanctuary and the bases of the veil, 100 sockets from the 100 talents, 1 talent for each socket. Then from the 1,775 shekels, he made hooks for the pillars, overlaid their capitals, and made the bands for them. The offering for the bronze was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. And with it, he made the sockets for the door of the tabernacle meeting, the bronze altar, the bronze grating for it, and all the utensils for the altar. The sockets for the court all around, the bases for the court gate, all the pegs for the tabernacle, and the pegs for the court all around. You know, I really love Dave Browning's song, Take Me In. And if you're not familiar with it, the words go something like this: take me past the outer courts into the holy place, past the brazen altar. Lord, I want to see your face. Pass me by the crowds of people and the priests who sing your praise. I hunger and thirst for your righteousness, but it's only found one place. Take me in to the Holy of Holies. Take me in by the blood of the Lamb. Take me in to the Holy of Holies. Take the coal. Touch my lips. Here I am. Take the coal. Touch my lips. Here I am. We read of the 603,550 men over 20 years of age in Israel. Allowing for wives and children, there were probably around 2.5 million people traveling through the desert. It's a lot of people. Can you imagine that? 2.5 million people trying to visit the tabernacle all in one day? I don't think so. I don't think that it could have been possible. Most likely the Levites went out into the tribes to explain and teach the law. You know, far western Oklahoma was once part of what was then called the Great American Desert. My dad was born and raised in Liberal, Kansas, just 7 miles north of the Oklahoma Panhandle, and having visited there many times in my life, I can relate to the land described around Mount Sinai. It's a desolate land. Without irrigation, nothing grows very well. You know, we experience many kinds of weather extremes in Oklahoma. There's temperatures as cold as 20 degrees below zero and as high as 115. Violent thunderstorms, which produce destructive hail and tornadoes. We have the world's highest incidence of tornadoes per square mile. When the rains do come, they all seem to come at once. We were once known for being the Dust Bowl. In the early 30s, a combination of poor farming practices, poor water conservation, and poor rainfall combined to wreak havoc upon the land. However, in 2011 to 2013, we once again experienced a drought equal to, if not worse, than that of the 1930s. Our ponds and lakes literally dried up. We would have been in big trouble had we had another year of drought, but the Lord was gracious and gave us rain. We didn't experience another Dust Bowl because the first Dust Bowl taught us how to change our farming and our water conservation practices. But even stored water eventually disappears if there's not enough rainfall. We had a population of a little less than 4 million spread out over 68,595 square miles for an average of 54.7 persons per square mile. The state as a whole averaged 33.93 inches per year of rainfall over the last 120 years. Israel's 2.5 million would have been about 63% of the population of Oklahoma. The Sinai Peninsula receives about 4 inches of rainfall per year. That's about 11% of the average rainfall of Oklahoma. And it covers about 23,000 square miles. That's about 33.5% of the size of Oklahoma. That's 63% of the people and 33.5% of the land receiving 11% of the rainfall of Oklahoma. Even that is a little bit deceiving, for the Israelites were all living together in one space, not spread out over the Sinai Peninsula. It would be like moving 2.5 million people into an area smaller than the Stillwater city limits of 28 miles. About 138 people per acre. That's a lot of folks. Having just moved into the area, they had no water collection projects. They had no ponds, no lakes, no cisterns. They only had natural lakes. Basically, nothing. Providing the water, food, and sewage needs for that number of people in a desert would have been a logistic nightmare. I don't think our city manager would have wanted that job. Talk about extremes. It would have been humanly impossible. But God provided. God's glory is seen in his miraculous provision for them. He alone could have provided. Only food rained down from heaven could have produced food needed for them to survive. Only water driven from the underground reservoirs could have met their need. How they managed the sewage is a whole nother topic. I still think we'll see it when we get there. That verse where the Lord tells them that when you go out of the land, you take a shovel with you to relieve yourself, and you cover it up. For I, the Lord your God, walk among you. Just don't step it. It's just amazing how he met their need. Can he meet my need or your need? Well, certainly he can, and he will. It is his glory to do so. But he has one requirement, which is that we trust and obey. Trust means that we are still, as if not moving, not flitting from one thing to another, so that we could hear his voice, to hear his word, to hear his instruction. Hearing his voice is absolutely what part of this symbolism of the furniture of the tabernacle is all about. Obedience is when we hear and do what he instructs. The result is that we'll see his glory, we hear his voice. There is no other option. Perhaps that is why we see so little of his glory today. We're unwilling to be still, to hear and obey. Nevertheless, his glory remains, and he awaits our hearing and obeying to reveal it. Indeed, we serve a glorious King. Speak his glory to someone today.